G'day, Josh. Jeepers, you're nearly all around the world and you had trouble getting to the start even. How do you feel?
Oh, great. Yeah, it feels good. We,
Yeah,
we um, the sense of accomplishment is definitely real.
yeah, I believe it. And apparently you're waiting to go to a party or something at the moment. Is that right?
I guess so. Carnival started yesterday or the day
Yeah,
before, but there's a big parade today. So once
yeah, that's good.
the majority of us get our interviews out of the way, we're going to head into town and see if we can't get into trouble.
Okay, I look forward to that. Stay safe. You're not
Yeah,
home yet, touch wood.
yeah,
Okay, so
right.
we haven't really spoken since Cape Town. So just briefly, take me back to the leg Cape Town to Recife. How did how can you describe that? You know,
Um, so everybody told us in Cape Town, like, oh, these next two passages, from here to St. Helena and then to Recife are going to be some of the best sailing in the world. And to be fair, the weather was good. We didn't have any squalls or storms or not hardly any rain or anything, but the swell was really challenging. Because you've got the current flows west. Once you get out of the Benguela current off the coast of Africa, there, like the current's flowing west, and you're trying to go north across it, and the seas were really confused, so it made for some difficult moments, me shaking my fist and cursing at the sky and that sort of thing. But
yeah.
otherwise, it was fine. Yeah, no major issues. So the second half of the passage to St. Helena was a bit rough. And then St. Helena ended up being amazing. I was kind of worried about the anchorage there and what it was going to be like to stay there, but it ended up being just fine. As long
Yeah.
as you've got plenty of chain and rope, you're doing okay.
Did you
And,
anchor up
and
yourself, or you picked up one of the moorings,
yeah, I
the
just anchored for
special mooring?
myself. Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
cool.
I, I attached my main anchor chain and rode and my spares together, so I had 16 meters of chain, and then 100 meters of line, and it was just fine, no problems. We
Yeah,
never we never dragged or went anywhere or anything weird like that, so it was okay. Yeah,
and you
and
did
ferry
Jacob's
service is
ladder.
really good.
You did the big
Yeah,
ladder.
a couple
Yeah.
times. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What's your standout highlight for Saint Helena besides Jasmine's
Uh,
swim? Because I
it
know
would
you were
it would have
involved
been
with that.
it would have been that, yeah, just because I basically got a free tour around the island,
That's
so
true.
and the guys on the boat took really good care of me. They had food and drinks and stuff like that, and I got to see the other side of the island that not as many people get to see, and it was absolutely stunning over there. So yeah, that was definitely the highlight for me. It was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Jazz's effort was just mind-boggling. She completely stunned me. I was just
Yeah,
staggered. I
yeah.
couldn't,
To be able to
you know.
do that with no training or anything, like just right off the couch is what we say, and that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it sure was. Okay. And so, in a word, then, talking about the life on the island, or, I know the yacht club sounded pretty cool, but, what was your impression? What was, because you got to say good day to the turtle, the old fella, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. That was pretty cool. Life there's cool. Like that's one place where I would seriously consider going back to. Like the thing that I really liked about it was the community spirit. The people, the saints that are from there are really proud of their community, and it shows. And they all help each other out, and they're all really generous and accommodating. And I really enjoyed the people. The people there was the best part for me. I really thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Everybody was so
Okay.
nice.
Yeah. So, and then the next leg to receive, you were verbalizing via text your mind and what this whole thing was about saying you're looking back on the journey so far and wondering where the future went. Obviously you got challenged. I know financially it's a challenge, which heightens all those issues as well, but try and can you verbalize it now, what you went through in your mind and as you were coming towards receive.
Yeah, it's you know we're thinking about the end and what comes next and everything like that, and it's kind of hard to like I told my sister, it's like uh, the for the last 12 months the only thing I've had to worry about is that cloud going to hit me or not. And so to have to start to think about reintegrating back into regular life has been challenging. But and on the last passage I didn't have any music or anything, so I was kind of just my mind was free to roam, so I had to find another creative outlet for that. So that's why I was so like waxing poetically, in the updates, trying to I don't know, kind of get in the mode of what it might be like to write a book or something about it. So I'm thinking about that and
Yeah.
just yeah, we're ready for the finish. It's been a great
Yeah.
adventure, but when you feel you're getting close to the end, you kind of get the what we call horse to the barn syndrome, where the
Ah,
horse runs
right.
the same
That's a
run.
new line.
When the horse knows he's going to the barn, he kind of just there's no turning him around. So
Horse to the barn. I got to remember that. First time I ever heard that, and
yeah,
I really
yeah,
related because I remember on all of my adventures when you're doing it, you get to that stage, horse to the barn thing, and you start thinking, "Oh shit, I got to do this, I got to," and then all of a sudden, what I do, I don't know whether you experience this, is say, "Nope, don't even think about it." Enjoy the moment, and you pull yourself back
yeah,
to the moment.
yeah,
But then at the same time, I said, "Hang on, I got to think about it because it's all going to stop on that day, and I can't just start to think what." So then you get drawn back into the
yeah,
back into the routine.
yeah,
It's really crazy. So I was
yeah,
really relating to what you were going through. It was quite, in a
yeah,
poetic way, it
yeah.
was quite beautiful what you were saying.
Yeah, yeah. You come out on deck, and the sea still takes your breath away, even after
Yeah.
25,000 miles. You're just, I can't believe I'm here right now. I can't believe I'm doing it. I can't believe I made this. So you look at the boat, and to me, it's just a boat now. But I always have to remind myself, I actually made this thing.
Yeah, good job too. Someone's going to get a deal when they buy your boat, I tell you.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so you're not like Ayrton. His body clock is to get up for a pee. You're a young fella. So what's your sleep pattern like? What do you do? If it was Ayrton, he'd sleep for 12 hours. But what were you doing for sleeping and stuff?
It's just been the same all along. I sleep for 40 minutes, and so I'll set the alarm for 40 minutes, and then I'll lie down, and then when the alarm goes off, I'll get up and I'll check the AIS, look around, check the heading and the speed and stuff, make sure that nothing needs to be changed or adjusted, and then make those adjustments, and then lay down for another 40
Oh,
minutes
I
or
lost
whatever.
you.
And there's some nights
Oh,
when
you're
I
back
just
again.
can't sleep. So I lost your video there. So I'll be up at 2, 3 in the morning, just staring at the stars and stuff like that, and then I'll just take a nap during the day, the next day or whatever. It becomes a lot more like organic. You just kind of
Yeah.
sleep when you're sleepy and stay awake when you're awake, and especially offshore when you don't have as much shipping traffic and stuff like that to worry about. Closer to land,
Yeah.
I probably cut it down to 20 minutes, sleep for 20 minutes, and then get up and check if I'm worried about ship traffic or reefs or anything like that. But yeah, that's pretty well works for me pretty well, and so it takes a couple days to get back into it, but then it's just you just get into the rhythm of the sea, and that's one of the beautiful things about being out there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, you're a hell of a long way round. You got one leg to do. What would you say? Because you've got quite a following now. I mean, everyone has. But what would you say to your followers? That have been dragging themselves around with you for the last year or more.
Of course, I'm always grateful for the support, and I'm glad to see that more and more people are getting interested in it, and like ultimately what I would like to do, or hopefully what happens, is that people get inspired to do whatever it is. If you're thinking about changing jobs, or taking a hike, or going on a trip that you've been thinking about for a long time but you haven't been quite ready to commit to, just for lack of a better metaphor, step off the dock, and take the chance, because it'll always be worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're still just not even in the middle of your life. It's amazing what happens if you don't make a decision to do it. If you don't
Yeah,
do it,
right.
it never happens. And
That's
then all of a
right.
sudden you think, "Oh, I've got no time left."
Yeah.
Anyway, we're preaching to the converted.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in Recife, having a bit of a party. You got another leg to go. First of all, have you got enough money to get home, or should people still try to bloody help you?
I always need a little bit more. I'm really close on my fundraising goals, and everybody's been so generous, and I'm super grateful for that. I couldn't be here without the generosity of, more or less strangers, and I really appreciate that. The fact that people are willing to support just some random guy on an epic adventure, I think that's really cool. That kind of shows the community spirit, as far as like what people, um, you know, find interesting and want to support. But yeah, I think I should be able to make it home.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of interesting because I look at this and think, you mentioned a book. Everyone's got a backstory. All the entrants in doing this have got a backstory, and it means that none of the books would be the same. If everyone wrote a book, it'd all be completely different because there's a lot of
Yeah,
reflection back in terms of we're all the outcome of our previous life, So you approach everything from a different angle. So because you'd have a great story, I'd love to read your book. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
with the
Should be a good
climbing
one.
stuff. Because I never got into climbing because it was too scary. Abseiling was
Yeah.
as big as I mean, I did some big pictures,
No.
like 400
Yeah.
meters, and all that sort of stuff. But
Right.
I thought, oh no way.
Yeah. Oh no,
So
I understand that. Like that's a big part of why I became a sailor was because climbing is scary. Sailing's
yeah,
scary too, but in a different way.
you
So
jumped in at
yeah,
the deep end.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. All right, so looking towards the next leg, you got the Amazon, you got the doldrums, and all of a sudden it's going to be over. What's in your mind at the moment? Tactics, or you're thinking about it, or you just said, "Oh, bugger it, I'll just get in the boat and go again."
No, for me, I think this is going to be. I'm really looking forward to this leg because it should be more wind on the beam and forward of the beam,
Yeah,
and that's what I really like. So I'm hoping for some more reaching conditions. The boat seems to really come alive once the wind is on the beam. Uh, I've had about enough downwind sailing, I think, for a while. So yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to this one. I think it's gonna have a lot more variety, because
yeah,
we'll have to reach up the coast, and then we'll probably be running for a bit with the current along the north coast of Brazil towards Venezuela, and then after that it'll be another reach up to Antigua. So I think it's gonna be great. I'm really looking forward to it.
yeah. Cool. I know exactly what you're saying. It's going to be good with on the beam, but anyway,
Yeah.
technical stuff. Tell me all about your wind vane and autopilot sort of management for you know what's been going on. How's you got the South Atlantic? How's the South Atlantic going?
The South Atlantic goes great, like it's got its limitations, but I really figured I learned how to tame it on this last passage, because everybody was having trouble with the boats not wanting to hold course, and so um, I mean it's definitely getting tired. It's definitely seen its share of miles.
Well, we're losing
Oh,
you.
yeah, yeah, I got you there. But so what I did on the last passage was I lashed the tiller so that basically I limited the range of motion for the tiller, so then the wind vane couldn't overcorrect, because the waves were trying to turn you one way, and so I just made it so that the tiller could not turn the
Yeah,
boat that way.
bugger.
So yeah, the waves or the wind vane would turn the boat up into the wind, and then the waves would turn you back, and so it held the course perfectly. And on the last leg
We're
from
losing you. We've lost most of this stuff. The technical stuff. You're going blank again. Oh, we're back again. We missed
back again,
nearly all
okay.
of that stuff. Just because you were talking about talking about lashing the tiller or something, or trying to stop the sensitivity. Can you just give
Yeah,
us an overview again? We lost all of that about the wind vane.
yeah, yeah. So the wind vane, what it wants to do is it tends to overcorrect because like it'll be steering the boat back, and then the wave will catch it, and then it'll just try to round it up. And so I just limited the motion of the tiller because on my last boat I didn't have an autopilot or anything. I just had this thing called a Davis tiller tamer, and it just allowed you to limit the motion of the tiller, and it would help the boat hold a course. And so I figured, well, if it worked for that, it can work here, and it did work really well. Like basically, I would just have the wind vane steer the boat to port, kind of into the wind, and then the waves would turn us back. And it's still kind of sails like a lazy S, but we held the course just fine. And yeah, I've had no issues with the South Atlantic. It's got its quirks. It's definitely not as powerful as a hydrovane, but it seems to steer the boat, so I have no
Yeah.
complaints. Yeah,
Were you still pulling the vane back to desensitize and things like that,
yeah,
and
yeah,
moving the
yeah. It's
counterbalance up and down? Yeah.
it's like playing an instrument,
Yep.
like and you really kind of just get the feel for it, like when it wants to have the vane tipped back, or when you need to move the counterweight up and down. Or I also started because my counterweight has an eye bolt on it. I put a
Yep.
piece of shock cord through the eye bolt and wrapped it around the main vertical tube, and that kind of also in heavy winds it can limit how much the flip flop can flip and flop, and
Yep.
that really helped to settle it down a bit. It wasn't
Yeah.
trying to overcorrect so much. So it
I
all
mean,
depends on the conditions, like you tune it, 10 times a day or whatever it takes. You're always out there kind of adjusting it. But
yeah.
I found it held the course just fine.
Well, you just mentioned what I call it exactly the same thing, but a different term. You call it like playing a musical instrument. I call it's like flying a plane. You got to get it in the groove and understand what it's doing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this is what I say about all the units. Whether it's the Wind Pilot or the South Atlantic or even the Aries, they're all just a servo pendulum system. but you got to understand how to fly it, or
Yeah,
play the instrument, And
yeah,
when you get that, then it comes down to the engineering. And as long as something's not broken and you
yep,
maintain it, they're all going to work,
yeah.
So yeah, interesting to hear you say that. And did you use your electric autopilot much?
No, I haven't had one since Panama. It broke when I was leaving Panama. I haven't had one. I've never had one. So
That's cool.
yeah,
That's cool. There you go. Some of them have
yeah.
gone through six.
I know. There's been
Yeah,
times when I'm like there's been many times when I'm like, well, this is where you want the autopilot, and so I just have to do a bit more hand steering. But honestly, I've just gotten really good at sailing in light wind. The
yeah,
light air conditions is when you want it the most, when there's not enough wind to actually activate the wind vane.
yep,
But I've just gotten you just trim the sails basically until the boat has such a the minimum amount of effort required on the tiller. So when you're hand
yeah,
steering, you trim the sails and you trim the boat to where you barely have to move the tiller at all, and then the wind vane doesn't have to do much. The boat's kind of already sailing itself.
yeah. This is like the John Guswell routine. He didn't have electric autopilots. He had a
Yeah,
yawl, and
right.
it forces you into doing stuff.
Yeah,
And so yeah, yours is a very pure sort of effort. Quite
yeah,
interesting. Yeah,
yeah.
quite interesting.
It's a real thing.
Okay, yeah, well, good to hear it all, and we'll look forward to we'll do a big wrap up interview in Antigua, but that's going to be a completely different one, eh? Hard to believe. Yakers.
Yeah, yeah. I can't
All
believe it.
right.
Sailing into history.
I know, bloody crazy. Anyway, part of the
Yeah,
course. All right. Well, good to chat, Josh. So good luck with the next leg. We'll be talking. We're gonna. Oh, you can't do it. The others that have got Starlink. I'm gonna make them call us when we do the daily
yeah. I
tracker
saw that.
update.
Yeah.
But anyway, we look forward to your reports, your written reports. Just remember, you don't have to just do it on your days. Any day you say I want to do a report, you can do one every day if you
Oh,
want.
okay, yeah. Because there was a lot of times when I was like waiting for my day. I was so that's
Oh, well, no, I should remind everyone. So,
yeah.
yeah, you can send them any day. You want to send one every day. People are interested to hear, and I
Okay.
read them out. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's cool. All right, well done. You're nearly there. Touch wood.
Yeah.
So hang on, and we'll see you in Antigua.
All right.
Hopefully, touch wood, touch wood.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you.
All right, that's great, mate. So, all the best, and see you very soon. Okay, Jane will cut that. This is a pre-record, as you know, so
Yeah.
this is the end of it. So yeah, that was really quite cool. So good.